Hi, everybody. My name is Margaret Pennard. Welcome to my channel. Happy Friday morning for me. You're on BookTube. I think I've got everything right. This is your place for reading sprints, productivity sprints, reading corner. I think Gemma and a few other people were doing a plod along instead of a sprint. Got me thinking, yeah, sprinting is not really metaphor conducive to quiet reading, which is what I assume we're going to be doing today. So I called it Quiet Reading Corner. Hopefully that agrees with everybody. Anyway, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Margaret Pennard. I'm a historical fiction and fantasy author. Got 6 books out. Working on whatever comes next because the muse is fickle. And I'd like to welcome you to the timed relays reading corner today. I do a first Friday and a final Friday 2-hour sort of fun read together time. So that's what you're getting today. And I'll just say hi to all the people. RC was here to say hello. Maggie from Mama Maggie Ward was here to stream hop. Thank you. And Leslie is here to say happy Friday. Thanks, guys. So I have started one book for the May of the Moderns readathon, which I am hosting, and that is this one. I've already read a chapter this morning, and I read a chapter last night. I'm reading like 9 or 10 books right now, so I'm going to switch it up between The Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy and Wished by Kate Davis, Creative Making in Uncertain Times. Because I only have 3 short chapters left in this one, and I'm feeling the need for some accomplishment. So we'll be switching up on my side between reading and writing postcards. I've got a big old stack of postcards. One of the things I do for patrons is send out a postcard every month that's just sort of random from my vintage collection and talks about fun stuff and, is high in the mail. So if you want information about that, down in the description, you could be a patron. I may hold some up while we're reading, so you may get to see some previews. But otherwise, I'm just going to be playing some music and we'll be doing some quiet reading. So welcome. Again, if you're new and not yet subscribed, feel free to hit the bell. During May, I will be talking about the Moderns books that I'm reading, but normally on my channel, you'll hear a little bit about research and writing, especially the 19th century and Scottish and Irish things, and Canadian even, and lots of modern books. I read eclectically, so you'll get fantasy, you'll get short story collections, you'll get a lot of nonfiction too. So feel free to subscribe if you like hearing about those things. And I will put a timer up in just a second, but how about this for a question of the day? Who's a quintessential modern fictional character for you? And don't say thoroughly modern Millie. That is too easy. Okay, so let's get started on our first little timer here. Reading till give it 20 minutes, so 25 after the hour. And again, you don't have to read. You can fold laundry or make a cake or whatever you need to do. But we'll just launch into our first quiet time here. I've put the prompts up, so if you're curious about the readathon, I've got the prompts right on the screen. And yeah. Oh, we got some people arriving. Em's in the house. Hello, Emma Bennett, romance author. Hello, JC Carpenter, also romance author. Look what we've all got in common. Heather Dewey Pettit, author, editor, and artist. Nice handle there. Stacy Coates, good afternoon. And I think it's all highs. Yes. And JC pointing out my moniker here as a hashtag. Thank you, JC. Hi, Richard. Swing by to say hello. Good sprinting, all. Richard, tell us what you're reading if you're reading anything. I'd be curious. But yeah, it is 5 after, so we'll jump into our first sprint. And I will mute myself and talk to you in 20 minutes. Okay, okay. It's 25 after. Let me take down my timer. Um, if you were reading, good for you. If you were editing, good for you. Don't listen to my voice. You're gonna ignore me anyway. I'm intrigued by this. 13 tons of seaweed. That's not that much headed toward the Gulf of Mexico. Like in a ship that's been harvested or like in a mass that was like a forest that got uprooted. I'm very intrigued by this news. It's arriving in Key West, twice the width of the US. I'm not sure what that means either. Floating, smelly. I have so many questions. So we had some other people come in. Morningstar came in. Dreaming Truth author came in. Martin Lejeune came in. So I wanted to say hello to everybody. I popped my question of the day into the YouTube chat rather than the StreamYard chat. Or sorry, rather than the StreamYard banner. Because it's sort of the theme today is the quintessential modern character. I haven't thought about it myself. I'm trying to come up with an answer now. Quintessential modern character. It would have to be someone who's flummoxed, first of all, in their plot, right? They're coming up against the world and all its brokenness. And I would say not triumphing yet, because I think one of the key characteristics of moderns is that it's a struggle. That's what I seem to get from all these books that I'm reading. And Martin, in case you're late to the party, there's this readathon that I'm running, 1901 to 1945, and the modern era for literature, not contemporary, separate from contemporary. Oh, yes. What did we get done? Thank you, Stacy. Let's keep ourselves on task. I got some laundry done and got a snack. Was it seaweed? Next sprint, I have some phone calls to make. One I was supposed to make yesterday, the other like 2 weeks ago. Hey, I feel you. I just responded to an email from like 2 weeks ago too because a second person contacted me. It's a little frustrating. It's like you try to teach someone to fish, and then they come back and ask you to give them a fish, and you're like, can we not? Can we not repeat the labor? Okay. Maggie says, editing had to reject a suggested change from her editing house because the main character would never look the antagonist's brother in the eyes for more than a moment. He's not all there, and that would be a fast way to meet Jesus. I like it. I like it. Ooh, the snack is all dressed ruffles. That sounds like a Met Gala dress, but it also sounds like it could be a new flavor that I haven't heard of from Ruffles chips, I guess. JC says, I finally pulled myself out of bed. Does that count as productive? Technically, no, but it means you're on your way somewhere, which is good. You've got momentum. I like that. That's good. Musical Maggie just hopped in. Should be working on my pre-dissertation. Instead, I have done nothing. Please make me write this methodology section. Ooh, so methodology sections make me think there's going to be lots of squiggly lines and funny characters. You have to option command shift on the keyboard to find, which is heck of annoying. So I feel like pain. Let's get into that during the next sprint, though. So all I did was take out all the postcards from my drawer and separate them into the ones that I'm not yet willing to part with and ones that I am. So I started addressing them to my patrons. Um, but I said I was going to trade off doing postcards and reading. So I think next sprint I will try to do another chapter from Wisht. So let's do another 20 minutes, hop into that, and do your methodology section. And then maybe we'll cover more of this moderns question. In the next break. I did say fictional character. I'm sort of off fish and chips. I had too many too often, I guess. Really good, but like now I'm kind of like need a break. Finished decluttering. It's never finished, JC, but onward, upward. Yeah, gotcha. Modern day. Oh, okay. Eva's got a good answer. Off topic, but good answer. Oh, okay. All dressed are not typically sold in the US. Had to order from Amazon so they could send from Canada. I wanted to try them. I mean, is it like ranch dressing flavor? That's where my mind goes. Speaking of Canada, hi Laura. Welcome. Okay, let me get my banner ready for the next sprint. And let's see, 9:32. So let's go till instead of 25, 52. How'd you like them apples? All right. So actually, I'm going to put up comments. So I'm going to make this a scroller this time. See how crafty we can be? We're dodging. We're weaving. We're doing okay. Hi. Everyone's saying hi. Awesome. All right. I'll mute myself and see you in 20 minutes. Good luck, everybody. And that's us back to break. Um, let's see. I read my chapter, skimmed it. It was about being someone other than yourself to be creative. Done with that. Two more left to finish the book. I did assign the rest of my postcards, so I know what I'm going to send to whom. And now I'm getting a pen. Interesting. There's 3 different pens here, all the same color-ish, different lines. I couldn't find a black gel ink pen, so I'm gonna have to go with this. I don't know what do you call it. They don't have names on these, but it's like a aqua blue. So I'll go with that when we write our postcards. That's our next sprint. How would everybody do for that one? First hour is done. We're halfway through. So let me catch up in the chat. We had Elena come in, 2 pages away of being done with Murder in the Muse by Agatha Christie. Nice. And that muse is a fun word. It's not something we have in the US, but I believe it refers to like a back alley behind a row of houses where they used to bring the horses in to the stable. So it's a very British term. Emma says, love Agatha Christie. Have you read her autobiography? Interesting. And Martin saying Lucy Worsley had a series on her recently on the BBC. Nice, which is on iPlayer. That helps anybody. And Elena finished the book. Nice. Musical Maggie wrote 78 words. Well done. That's a good start. Excellent. Yes, a lot has been made of Agatha Christie's absence recently in terms of media. Gotcha. All right. Stacy says, I was productive, if not productive, in writing or reading. Maybe the next sprint. Yep, no worries. I'm writing postcards to patrons. So, yeah, definitely whatever you need to get done, we're here to keep you company. Maggie says, discovered I use 2 forms of a word. Carry on versus carry on with a dash. Pick the former, carry on, and replaced in the whole document. To hyphenate or not to hyphenate, that is always the question. See, I would have put it with a hyphen because it's an adjective that's made up of 2 words, like a carry-on bag. If that's the sense you're using it in, I would definitely keep the hyphen. Otherwise, it risks looking like you're trying to say carrion, like something left for the vultures. Editing progresses, though. Very, very nice. Elena has read the autobiography. Well done. Agatha Christie super fan, looks like. You see, I did some reading. Classic avoidance of the decluttering that I should be doing. Hey, reading is feeding the flames. I think that can be part of writing as well. It can also be part of decluttering if you're going to let go of the things that you're reading afterwards, which often happens for me. All right, Stacy says, I have a call I need to make today, so I guess I'm still not going to be writing yet. Hey, if it needs to get done, it's work. And Sophie helped my cousin figure out the layout of their new office space. Yes, because I think in another person's chat you said you just went to IKEA to help them get a closet. All the fun decorating things happening. Heather says, I'm doing that as well, JC, avoidance, but using DMs. JC agrees with me that it should be hyphenated, so that's 2 votes. I don't know what your editing team said, Maggie. I feel like Buffy is really... Oh, this is the Okay, this will go with the Katniss category. I guess I should cover that, huh? Maggie says it's also a noun now. Carry on. Carry on. But I feel like it's an implied adjective. Carry on, bag. Carry on. Yeah, I wouldn't run it together. It looks wrong to me. It may be correct in a dictionary, but it looks wrong to me. Okay, so let me go back to what I started for the answer to the question. So from my writer friends, we got a few contemporary modern characters. Eva said Katniss, and she showed her work by saying it represents the modern day. Katniss is a strong woman that maintained her compassion against the tyrants. And I do like that answer. And then musical Maggie says, I feel like Buffy is really iconic of the strong female character archetype. Jocelyn gave sort of a generic answer, which was the quintessential modern character would be the anti-hero for the modern era, which I do feel really I am in agreement with, because what I was trying to get at when I started thinking about my answer was that it's someone who's struggling with something, has come up against like a big force, but hasn't yet figured the way out yet. So that is sort of anti-hero-ish. So I think we're on the same wavelength for like the first half of the 20th century answers. Mama Maggie says, I always think of moderns as women ahead of their time in the 1920s and 30s. Yeah, I think when I mentioned thoroughly modern Millie, I don't think of her as ahead of her time. I think of her as right on the crest of the wave, like someone who is an early adopter of the new fashions and the new slang and putting themselves forward, which is like a modern woman trait. So, yeah, interesting. I just thought that'd be a fun question for May of the Moderns reading spring. Oh, okay. So the closet is for the brother, but the office is for the cousin. Okay. We're doing all the interior decorating things today. Interesting. Joanne says, ran some errands. Day was really productive. Started at 7:30. Nice. I woke up from a dream at 5:44 a.m. today. Whew. Okay, so Heather, I think, is leaning on the side of like treating it as an implied adjective, even if you don't use the noun. Hyphenate when a two-word phrase is used as a modifier. That's where we're going. So I think you get 3 votes on this side, Maggie. Ask a copy editor, yeah. Yeah, so there's your input if you wanted it. And we are at 10 o'clock for me, which is our second half. So I guess since I did reading and then postcards, I'm going to do a postcard and then try to jump back into reading The Tin Flute. So far, just in case anyone is wondering about this modern read, I'm not sure who the main character is supposed to be. We are hopping around in points of view from Florentine, who is a waitress at a really cheap sort of like diner in a fun fair, seems like. And she's fallen for this guy, Jean, and like definitely fallen for him, but he's kind of a jerk. Jean Levesque is someone who is working in a factory, studying to become an engineer and not to be conned into signing up for the military. This is in 1944-45. But his friend Emmanuel is also POV-ish, and he has signed up for the military, and he's on leave. So he's come back to see his friend Jean, and Jean and Emmanuel are sort of the two smarter of their set of like guys that were working class in Saint-Henri neighborhood. So 3 of them. Also, Florentine's mother and father have come in a little bit. It's all very sad. It's all very like the world is terrible and we're fighting against it, but the wind is bitter and cold in our face kind of feel. There's some really pretty lines, so I've like tabbed some nice lines, but yeah, I'm enjoying it, but there are some abrupt pieces, and I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be, like, rooting for. That's probably a modern part of the novel. So, I'll do a postcard and then jump back in for a little bit of, the Tin Flute. We got some copy editing gripes. Um, okay to hyphenate it is it as? I'm not sure I'm reading that right. Heather says, "I hate backyard." I guess I'm used to that one visually. Yeah, JC says, according to Merriam-Webster, it is carry dash on or carry space on, but not run together. Yeah, I've never seen it run together either. So, again, there's your input, Maggie. I don't know if it'll influence you. It's your book after all. But yeah, so that's the modern reading I'm doing. And let's jump into another sprint since we're halfway through and I want to get two more done. So another 20 minutes, which means 23. Here we go. So hop back in, mute myself, and see you in 20 minutes or in the chat if I get distracted. Ah, I have reached it. I have reached the first mention of the tin flute. Very end of chapter 9. Man, it is rough. She would gladly have destroyed within herself all her impotent good intentions. Weary of its own softness, her heart was hardening again. Cool. It's heavy stuff. Okay, so I did write 2 postcards for my patrons, but then I went back to reading so that I wouldn't be leaving it behind. And there's some chatter in the chat. So I did stick up Mama Maggie's mouthwatering cake description. She's got a book series that deals with a main character who is a chef, and she gets to test recipes for her books. The recipe with this book is white velvet cake. I'm not sure how you would make that other than white cake with Frangelico hazelnut filling. Now that sounds right up my alley. And white chocolate buttercream. That sounds really good. Oh, let me turn this scroller off. Forgot to put it on at the beginning. No one told me. I forgot. So that sounds really good. So I thought I'd leave that up to make everyone's mouth water. So then I nudged Emma about saying Happy Cinco de Mayo because she starts her videos off with Hola amigos. So I figured it was on brand. Emma saying, I want that cake. Stacy saying the cake does sound good. Joanne asking if it's her own recipe. And I was asking for a link to books in the series if she has one. Jocelyn said, save me a slice. Jocelyn also said, my first love is brownies, but I'll make an exception for any type of chocolate dessert. I agree. I've been meaning to make brownies for a while. I made a seed cake, and I did finally finish it yesterday, so I just cleaned the dish. So I should go to the next one on that list, but I'm being distracted by brownies. So yeah, sounds yummy, says JC. And Joanne has a new mood board to share. But you know what? If people get to spamming too many links too many times, I don't want to see them share it. So that's my new policy. Just to make that clear. Stacy says, I love brownies too. And Jocelyn says, I make mine from scratch. Nice. Joanne says, I love brownies. Brownies seem to be a hit. I wonder who could possibly not like brownies on AuthorTube or BookTube. There's sure to be a controversy somewhere. Stacy says, our oven's not working, so no baking for me right now. Uh-oh. Oh, J.K. Lambo has a question. How would you describe a modern character? So for the parameters of the question of the day, the fictional character would have to be written in a work between 1901 and 1945, but embodies some characteristics of the literature from that period. That's kind of what I was trying to ask people. Oh, I left to go take a nap. Head is pounding. Sorry about that. I hope you feel better. Emma's got an answer. Jo March probably slips into modern, and she's my quintessential modern character. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Little Women is probably written, 1860s or 70s? But yeah, you're right. She does seem to be ahead of her time. Musical Maggie, another half a paragraph down. Well done. Eva played outside for the bulk of that sprint. Well done. JC says, I love Jo March. Yep. And now Eva is hungry. I have a muffin mix I can whip up. I don't bake from scratch often. LOL. Yeah, I sent a picture to my sister yesterday. I take a picture of a lot of the food I make for myself, just remind myself that I'm caring for myself with the food. And yesterday, it was a ready-made thing from Trader Joe's that was Indian beans and lentils, beans and lentils and spices. And so I put that in the microwave, but to dress it up a little because I had to use up other stuff, I put it in a small glass pan, covered it with arugula salad mix that I had to use up, and then roasted asparagus with oil and seasoned salt, and then put the cut up asparagus on top, and then put a little bit of cheese. So it was the first time I'd ever used the broil function on this oven, and I've been here for 10 years. I'm scared of a broiler, folks, so that was big. I used a broiler for the first time because I wanted cheese on top. So anyway, that was exciting. And I sent it to my sister so that I could like have a little celebration win. Oh, okay. So Maggie says it's the Pagosa Anemone series. Oh, that makes sense. Right. And I have 4 velvet cake recipes that I made for my grandmother Nora. My favorite is black velvet, but she wasn't a fan of the espresso and dark chocolate. Well, I think you might have some fans in the comments who might like to read about a Baker main character. So there we go. Pagosa Anemone series. That is definitely up on Amazon. Jocelyn, I have yet to make a lentil soup. Surprisingly simple, yet hard to get exactly the way you want it, I think. So when I lived in Turkey, I had great memories of the red lentil soup at a certain restaurant there. And it's a traditional thing. I'm sure it's great in lots of places. Um, Kırmızı mercimek çorbası, which just means red lentil soup. But they had like a specific herb and a specific like lemon twist. It was just so good. And I'm not a big fan of like split pea soup or that kind of lentil heavy sludgy stuff. This was so good. I don't know how to make it. Marlene S, welcome. Hi, happy Friday. Hopping on to get some Friday night reading done. Aha. So it's 10:30 in the morning where I am. So now I know that you're on the opposite side of the world. Welcome. Let me know if you're participating in May of the Moderns or just here to read something totally different. You tell us what you're reading. Eva said that was a lot of steps. I mean, microwave, oven, compose, oven. So 4 steps, really. Yeah. They sound so good. The cakes sound really good. Yes. Congrats. Thank you, Eva. Eva says the most delicious food I ever had from a restaurant was a salmon dish over a lentil sauce in 2007. Well, obviously it made a big impression. Nice. Stacy saying, I love lentil soup. Do you have a recipe? Curious. Eva says, with a plate, not a dish, so not quite a soup. Right, because it's a salmon just over a lentil sauce. Interesting. A schmear, if you will. Marlene, just here to read something else. Haha. I'm in the middle of a little romance. Falling hard for the Royal Guard. Well, that sounds cute and appropriate for the weekend. I started, again, I'm reading too many books, so I was feeling the need to finish something, which means for the next sprint, I'll probably go back to this because I've only got 2 more chapters. But I did start a romance yesterday, and I'm like halfway through it, so that'll get me another finishing thing of accomplishment since, there's no other accomplishments in my life right now. Oh no, Maggie says, I hate lentils, but we'll eat yellow lentils in thing. I'm trying to get them for like some cheap, less impact environmentally protein. So that's why I reach for the, lentils that are already sort of processed at Trader Joe's. Pros and cons of everything, But yeah, that's all right. We'll all find our way forward. I didn't get to say, oh no, I did. We did do the Joe March thing. Okay. So back to live chat, back to my timer thing. 10:32. Let's do one more 20-minute reading sprint. So 32 to 52 again. All right, so let's pop that on up and roll right on in. I'll mute myself and see you in 20 minutes. Happy reading. Wow. Wow. Okay. So we had some lightning round there. So I did read 2 chapters in this book, but unfortunately I came to discover that there was a 4th. Well, I got through 3, but I counted wrong. There's 1 more still. So I will be reading that so that I can say that the book is done after we end today. Got started on another postcard, very exciting, um, to someone you may know, which is also exciting. But we're wrapping up. That was 4 20-minute sprints in 2 hours. I think that's pretty good. Adrian came in right as we started and said he liked the layout, which was cool. Because I put the prompts over there as a background and then made a custom layout in StreamYard so that I was on the other side, kind of like a newscaster, in case anyone is wondering how this is happening. um, Adrian is actually a star this week. His book, Myth, first in a series, came out and it's on half sale. So it's $5 now, going to be $10 after Sunday. So if anyone wants to hop over to Adrian's channel, he's made it very obvious where to pick up the book to help him out as his debut. Well, he's got a prequel. He's got a prequel out. But this is like debut novel. So yeah, nice. We had some futzing around and name calling, which I will skip. And I do sympathize, Adrienne, with it was an accident. I did the same thing to Eva, just Eva on Barrett's channel, actually, as a moderator. So I feel you. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, okay. Nope. I'm talking about modern era, 1901 to 1945, which is the reason that we're on May of the Moderns now. But some people are giving this a contemporary spin. So Adrian says, not sure, but my gut answer is Walter White from Breaking Bad. And again, we're gonna say no with the Breaking Bad because I hear he does a bad thing to a powerless character. And I don't like that. And I have been convinced that it is not a show worth watching. His character arc changed television into something akin to what we get out of novels. Huh. Well, that is interesting because it's discussing 2 different media. That is an interesting discussion. Yes. Emma is adorable. We're talking about wrenches. I'm a little lost in the comments, but it's fine. So one of the cool things, so again, this book I'm not too happy with. I got 1 more chapter and then it's going to be at 2.75 stars. But it does have some interesting links that I'm going to follow up with. And one is to an author named Thompson who wrote a Scott's Dictionary of Nature in 2018. And I just read a definition of king's weather. So I thought I'd put that out there for the Brits in the audience. And Martin countered with, he just learned stiff rump, an 18th century term for one who sticks obstinately to the same path despite clear evidence it's the wrong one, which could apply to several people in the comments. Emma said, I feel called out. And I said, that's an unforced error. That's a self-own, Emma. So, Marlene read 22 pages of the book they're reading, which awesome. How else did we do in that last sprint, everybody? Stacey says my brother left and I'm on hold. Still doing phone calls. All right, well, persevere. You can do it. Musical Maggie, I do know how to write a methodology section for a qualitative project really fast. Okay. Does that mean that you did it? Well done. Love how it looks. I think that's the background. And Mama Maggie, of course, the fastest in the West with the links. Shadow of the Spark. There's a link to get that half price before Sunday. Once Upon a Time. Hello. Hi, everyone. Happy to meet you all. Very nice to meet you as well. Unfortunately, you're coming in at the very last end, the very tail end of our sprints today, but like, comment, subscribe. Then you'll get to see next time. So this is the first Friday, and I also do final Friday little reading corners / reading sprints / productivity sprints, stroke, angle file sprints, who knows? JC says, I did some more reading and had a second cup of coffee. I am on my second cup of tea. I had to dump it out because something invaded my tea. But I will be getting my third cup presently because I have a meeting with Shannon in a little bit to prepare for. Musical Maggie, I think I have like one paragraph to go-ish. Nice. And yes, in like an hour and a half, right? Right? Shannon? 2 paragraphs. Two methodologies. No, paragraphs for the methodology, limitations and conclusion, I think. Okay, gotcha. We're back in business. I got it now. Oh, yes. And besides the little sprints, there's also regular other live streams where I talk about book reviews and historical research, and we do karaoke and buddy reads, lots of fun booktube stuff. Yes. More coffee, more tea, all the caffeine. Yeah. There we go. We're all on the same page. Okay. Well, I have one more chapter to read so I can finish that stinking book. I've got 3.5 more postcards to write, which is doable. Maybe before the tea, after the tea, around the tea. And then some cleanup to do because I've got all the postcards and all the stickers everywhere. Clean up on aisle 3. All right. Maggie being funny. Yep. Wrap-ups and reviews. I'm kind of defaulting to calling them reviews because that's basically what they are. But yeah. So there we are, everybody. 1 minute to go. I'll just say thank you for coming. Lovely to see all your friendly faces. Thank you for being part of this reading community. If you're reading books for May of the Moderns, or if you're just here to sprint and write and read and fold laundry, make phone calls. Also good. So, yes, it's Friday today. I'll see you on Sunday. Doing what? We'll see. I'm shifting back my time a little bit. YouTube is telling me that instead of 11 a.m. Pacific, people are on at like 12 or 1. So I'll be a little bit later in the day. Maybe that'll be better for some of you. I would love to see more smiling faces. I will be reading in that time. I will be reaching out to moderators for the AWC in that time. I will be posting these postcards or mailing if you're American. And again, I do send to international. So if you're an international reader and want a literary postcard from me, check the description for information on my Patreon. It's cheap. It's easy. It's fun. So I got to get on that. Yes. Other than that, I think we're good to wrap up today. So thank you once again, everybody. Hope to see you for May of the Moderns content or in other people's chats where I am often found. Information on all that is in the description. So yeah, check it out. And I will see you later. Bye, everybody.